Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about the upcoming episode of Unfortunate Love was how Rishi finally exposed Vikrant and Saloni to everyone and tells everyone that Vikrant and Saloni are married. So let's continue from there. Rishi tells everyone that Saloni is Vikrant's wife. He says that even now he doesn't understand how all the family can be a betrayal. Rano asks if Vikrant's parents doesn't have elder son. Rishi says Puneet and Anjana will not answer, but I will tell you everything. Even though nobody believed me, I used Shalu and Bani. Rishi says to everyone that I will tell you how Saloni is Vikrant's parent daughter-in-law, even though Vikrant doesn't have an elder brother. He says Saloni's husband's name is Vikrant Kaka, and everyone is shocked. And Rishi says yes, Vikrant is Saloni's husband. Anjana asks Rishi to stop it and says don't stoop low, that you forget the limitations, and says first you have accused Vikrant and my daughter-in-law and now you are wiping away the identity of my elder son. She asks him to stop it, but Rishi also asks her to stop it because the truth is out now. Virendra says to Rishi that you are accusing them on something big and he asks for proofs. Rishi says I have proof and he takes out Vikrant and Saloni's wedding photo from his pocket, but the photos are destroyed with water because of how he was thrown into the pool by Vikrant's goons earlier. Rishi says that the photo is destroyed and Vikrant and Saloni's face could not be seen in the photo, but he asks everyone to believe him that he is saying the truth. Vikrant smiles and says okay. Rishi says in the photo, there was Sarika, whom Vikrant lied to everyone that her name is Saloni, and the second photo is Vikrant's marriage photo with Mayur. Vikrant thinks that where did Rishi meet Mayur, and he realized that Rishi would have met Mayur in the temple, and he thinks that Rishi got to know everything about him in detail from his friend called Mayur. Puneet says to Rishi that you make nice stories, and he asks him to write a story for movies and make films. Vikrant asks Rishi to act in his film too, and Rishi says I will act good than you, and he asks Puneet to do the heroine's dad role in his film. Karishma says to Rishi that you always say that you have proof, but you never had any proofs. Karishma asks if Rishi has realized that he is blaming Saloni as well. Vikrant says that Rishi is a cheap and a disgusting person and says I feel pity on Lakshmi, who regard Rishi as a friend. Rishi asks Vikrant to stop it and says I am controlling myself, but don't take Lakshmi's name with your mouth, and he asks Vikrant if he has ever thought of how disgusting him and his family are. Rishi says to Vikrant that the proofs are destroyed because of your goons outside, because they took me to the swimming pool to kill me. He asks Virendra to believe him and everyone is shocked, remembering that Lakshmi was right when she was saying that Rishi was in danger. Vikrant says to Rishi that everyone should learn stories from him and says Rishi makes new story every time. Vikrant says what are you saying? That I sent goons to kill you and you got saved? Rishi says you are trying to kill me in the hospital. In fact, I went to the hospital because of you. You tried to kill me many times. Vikrant says to Rishi that you are trying to make me a criminal and a murderer. Rishi says you are a criminal and a murderer and he asks him to leave. Vikrant says I will marry Lakshmi and then I will leave. Rishi asks Vikrant not to take Lakshmi's name from his mouth, and Vikrant says if you come between Lakshmi and me, then I will kill you and I will not hesitate, and Lakshmi is shocked to hear that. Lakshmi gets angry and slaps Vikrant for saying that he would kill Rishi. Grandma says my lioness Lakshmi was silent till now and she is roaring just as the hunter talked about killing a tiger. Lakshmi warns Vikrant not to talk about harming Rishi again and says that she will not tolerate that. In the room, Ayush calls the servant who is guiding his room and he asks him to bring 2 juice and 1 milk glass for him. Shalu asks that why milk? The servant calls Ayush and tells him that he cannot bring anything because if he opens the door, then Ayush, Shalu and Bani would run out and says I want to go to the washroom, but then also I am not going because you guys might escape from the room. Ayush begged the servant to bring the juice, but the servant says Neelam would fire him. Ayush asks him to open the door and says I will save your job, but the servant refused. Shalu asks Ayush to call brother-in-law, but Ayush says his phone is off. Rishi tells Vikrant that he was waiting for Lakshmi's answer and now he is happy seeing Lakshmi defending him. Kiran tells Malishka that Lakshmi became great in front of Rishi by slapping Vikrant, and Kiran asks Malishka if she will still be silent. Malishka pretend and she get angry on Vikrant for arming Rishi and she beat Vikrant. Rishi says Vikrant cannot arm me and Malishka hugs Rishi and cries, but Rishi slightly pushed Malishka away and he asks her to relax. The priest tells the other priest that they should leave because the bride slapped the groom, so this marriage cannot happen. Vikrant stops the priest and says that I will take my bride away from here and I will marry her, and he asks the priest to sit. Vikrant thinks that he is not habitual to losing and says now he will take revenge from both Rishi and Lakshmi. Vikrant says to everyone that Rishi will get his answer when I marry Lakshmi and Lakshmi will get her own answer tonight, and everyone is shocked. In the room, Shalu says that the marriage must have happened by now. Ayush says if Rishi comes here, then he will break the marriage and he will make them take reverse wedding rounds to break the marriage. Rishi's phone rings and he picks the call and it is Ayush. Ayush says thank God that you are fine. Rishi says I am fine and I am at home, and he ends the call. Vikrant takes out a knife and everyone panics. Ayush tells Shalu and Bani that Rishi has come home and they get happy. But Shalu says, but my sister must have married by now, and Shalu feels bad. Everyone gets scared seeing Vikrant's evilness. Ayush tells Shalu that Rishi must have stopped the marriage. Shalu says how will Rishi stop the marriage? The marriage must have happened. Ayush says his brother is Rishi, Lakshmi's sister-in-law's shield, and says their destinies are correlated, and says this is Rishi and Lakshmi's fate, and says Vikrant is a bad person and Rishi will not let Lakshmi marry him. Ayush tells Shalu and Bani that this marriage will not happen, and Shalu and Bani smiles. Virendra, Neelam and Karishma get Vikrant and Saloni's marriage pictures on their phone at the same time. Rishi asks them if they got the photos of Vikrant and Saloni's marriage, and Neelam, Karishma and Virendra get shocked. Rishi says to everyone that the proof is in front of you and says this is Vikrant and Saloni's marriage photo. Rishi tells Vikrant that now you must be thinking of how I got these photos. He says I met Mayur in the temple and Mayur exposed you. Rishi says I asked Mayur to send the photos to everyone's phone at the right time, and that is what just happened. Rishi says to everyone that you all don't know where Vikrant vanished to during the engagement puja, and says Vikrant vanished because Mayur had come to the temple, so Vikrant and Saloni hide from Mayur so that they don't get exposed. Vikrant realized that he has finally been exposed and he says that they are found out very soon. Vikrant says to everyone that since you got the proofs against me, then I have no problem to confess, and says yes, Sarika, whom you all know as Saloni, is my wife, and everyone is shocked. Karishma gets scared and she goes away from Vikrant. Vikrant says Sarika is Saloni and Saloni is Sarika, and the same Sarika or Saloni is my wife. Vikrant says to Rishi that you used to shout and tell your family that I am not a good man, but nobody believed you because I have presented myself well and I did good marketing so that I become good and their own son become bad in front of them. Virendra says you fraud and cheat and says it is our win and says we are good that we trust anyone. Virendra says to Vikrant that it is our mistake that we did not trust our own son and you should be ashamed of yourself too. Virendra asks Vikrant to see Rishi's values and says Rishi risked his life, but he did not let anything happen to his family. Virendra tells Vikrant that Rishi is our blood, our pride, and says Rishi has taken out the blindfold from our eyes, and says Rishi has exposed you and he saved Lakshmi's life, and Rishi did not let Lakshmi marry you. Virendra says Rishi is our son, the Oberai's house son. Okay, so no more hiding for Vikrant. He is finally exposed, and this is not anybody's imagination. Vikrant is finally exposed. So thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to check the comment section for the link to the next episode once it is available, and I will see you all again in my next video. Bye guys.